plans. And so we're going to be talking today about getting or providing services to the most vulnerable among us. And we know that the state representative, she's leading the charge out there. She does so many things. And so I'm so glad that she's going to be joining us today. I'm going to read a little bit about her background. State Representative Joanna McClinton is a Democratic member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. She represents the 191st House District in Delaware County and in Philadelphia. She's been doing that since 2015. And in November 2020, she was elected to serve as the House Democratic leader. And hopefully she's going to tell us a little bit about what that means. Her policy proposals, they center around education reform, job creation, reforming the criminal justice system. And she's just all over the place in the community, providing help where it needs it the most, where the community members need it the most. And so is the rep on with us yet, Mike?
Yep, she's on now.
Wonderful. So let's welcome State Representative Joanna McClinton to the show. Hi.
Hi, Stacey. Happy Sunday. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you all so much for having me today.
Happy Sunday to you too. I am, you know what, I'm going to see if I can turn up my computer because maybe, can you say something?
See, I like how you blamed it on me at first.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sorry, Mike. Okay, I was going to walk that back.
Okay,
I'm so sorry. Now I can hear much better. State Representative Joanna, I want to call you Joe, but I want to be professional.
Well,
right?
That's my name. Let everybody know, please.
How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I've had a good weekend, and I am so excited about a new week. This is different from some. I won't be going to Harrisburg, so I'll be in the district this week, going back to vote in Harrisburg next week.
Wonderful. And so like I was saying in your intro, you are all over the community. I know you're in Philadelphia and you're in Delaware County. Why don't you let folks know, what is the area that you cover? What are your boundaries?
Absolutely. So for those who are listening, hi, WURD family. This is State Rep Joanna McClinton, and you can call me Joe when we see each other in these streets. I am in the Cobb Creek section of Southwest and West Philly and Lower Delaware County, so both Darby Borough and Yeadon. So for those who are familiar with the borders, I start at 63rd and Market. I go over to 58th and Market. I go south all the way to Lindbergh Boulevard, go all the way out Woodland Avenue, all the way out Greenwood and Pascal. And it cuts off a little bit around 62nd and Lindbergh, 62nd and Elmwood. That starts Representative Regina Young's district.
Okay. And as everyone knows, I am a Yeadon resident. So yes, you are my state representative as well. And so I always see you out and about doing things for the residents. And speaking about being out in the community, why not? Let's talk about your curbside resource fair.
Yes. So
just had one on Friday. How'd it go?
It went very well, and we had many neighbors stop. So we used to have very nice events in person. Of course, we are not doing that for everybody's safety. One of the things that we're doing that's a little creative is we're just going outside the district office, 60th and Chestnut. We're there Monday through Fridays, but every Friday that the weather permits. If it's raining, don't come up. But if it's a beautiful Friday, now until the spring ends, you can find resources from different people in our community. We're so glad to have health partners there on Friday. They had the bus where you could come on and get a medical screening one-on-one, get your blood pressure taken. We had lots of folks stop by, get information on upcoming job fairs, get some masks, because we can never have enough masks these days, find out where they can get vaccine in the community. So we're just going almost like bringing our office outside, because some people will never come in. But if we are outside and say, hey, can you help with unemployment? And it's like, yes, we have it on the window, but you probably were moving so quickly you didn't see it. Yes, we can help you. So we try to come and bring our resources right to our neighbors, because, of course, 60th Street's very busy. So we get people going back and forth, picking up their kids, going to take the L or going to take the bus.
Well, I just think that is so awesome. And just given all the concerns that everyone has because of the pandemic, right? You're outside. So, automatically that's a little bit better, or I think it may give some people a comfort level of being outside, right, in the fresh they can still have access to those services. I really applaud you for that, because I think that's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
And yes, Health Partners, we are happy to support you in everything that you do and all these initiatives that you have. I am going to commit to also providing some giveaways for you. Matter of fact, I'm going to hold up. So for the folks who are watching this on Facebook, I'm not really technically astute. However, I know that people can see me now. So I'm going to hold up this little kit that we are going to give you, Rep. We're going to give you about 100 of these little kits.
Oh, nice.
And so these are for our youngest community members, kindergarten through about maybe 3rd or 4th grade. Each kit contains 5 disposable masks, 1 reusable mask, a personalized pack of hand wipes, and as well as a small personalized sanitizer.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We'll get these to you this week. Matter of fact, for our listening audience, the first 25 folks to send me an email at hpfoundation@hpplans.com, we'll get these mailed out to listeners as well. And I will be remiss. Okay, Joe, I got to tell you, there's this little poem on the front of them, and then we'll go back to talking about you. So there's this little poem on the front. It is National Poetry Month, so if I could just take 2 seconds and read this little poem that I absolutely love. And it says, here's what HBF has to say to keep you safe at school and play. Wear your mask, always be wise, wash your hands and sanitize. Keep your distance 6 feet apart, stay safe and healthy and very smart. And so we're going to get 100 of these over to your office.
Well, thank you, because our children are back in the classroom, and that is just going to be such a uplift for some parents who are always digging around their purses like I am. Where's my mask?
Yes. All the time. So yes, I'll connect with Hope, and we'll make sure we get those out to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so when I was reading your bio, you talked about the fact that you are the House Democratic leader. What does that mean?
Sure. So we have 7 leadership posts in Harrisburg, and without running through all of them, essentially the leader is the one who's in charge of the caucus. And I always use the example, kind of the equivalent of Nancy Pelosi. She's the speaker. We do have a speaker. I'm not the speaker because there are more Republican members than Democrats. So I'm right below the speaker, though, for the Democrats. I'm in charge of our whole caucus. There are 90 members from around the state, and it's up to me and my office to set the legislative agenda for our members and to make sure that we are on the floor uplifting all their priorities from the districts across the state.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Congratulations on that. You've been in that since last year, I think?
Just a couple months. It's brand new. Yes, just since
Wow.
November.
Well, that just speaks to your work ethic and all the things that you do. So congratulations on that. And so when you say you're setting the agenda, so if community members have concerns that they would like you to present as a leader for this caucus, how would they do that?
Yes. So if you are listening or watching on WURD TV, please get in touch with me on social media. Everything is Rep McClinton. So that's MC Clinton. So MCCLINTON. You can find me on Facebook, Rep McClinton, Twitter, Instagram, and on the website, it's repmcclinton.com. Also, you can call the office. We were just talking about every Friday we're outside, but every day we're inside, Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. We're at 60th and Chestnut, 52 South 60th Street. Feel free to call me anytime. The number is 215-748-6712. That's 215-748-6712. You might have an idea for a bill that hasn't come up on our radar yet. You might have experienced something in your family and say, hey, this isn't fair with the law. We want Pennsylvania law to be better. Give your suggestions and ideas so that we can work on them and present them before the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Thank you.
Wow. That was like the best commercial, Joe. You are so good at this. You are great. So
I'm
now,
glad I'm not on TV.
Next time I'm going to listen, I was just saying to Mike before we started, I was like, I need to see some other faces. I was like, can I get them to be on Zoom with me? But
I could have. I didn't know about it, and I'm definitely not prepared.
Okay, quick story. When they first when we first transitioned to doing the show from home, I didn't know people could see me. So my first time, I've got not pajamas. I almost had pajamas. I had on like an Eagle sweatshirt and my hair, pony, no makeup. And, someone called me and was like, wow, you look so young. I was like, how do you see me? What are we talking? What's going on here? And so now I know. And so now I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll be able to.
YouTube and Facebook.
Right. Technology it's a whole thing. So I have to, make sure I'm all presentable and everything. And so next time, hopefully Mike will help me. Super producer Mike, he'll help me. We'll get the link out to folks.
Absolutely. I got you.
Of course you do, Mike, because you're awesome.
That's my job.
Yes. And so, Joe, let's talk for the next couple of minutes about what is your office doing to address the vaccine efforts and just getting the word out about how folks in your district can be vaccinated.
Absolutely. So we are making sure that everyone has the information. Depending on where you live, there may be a site where you can get vaccinated nearby, and I just want to pull that information up rather quickly. Right in West Philly, in the Cobbs Creek section, we have several different places you can go to get your vaccine. Where I went was Fair Health Center. They are located at 59th and Walnut, but they are using a church at 59th and Spruce, and they just ask that you call ahead so that they can give you an appointment for a vaccine. Several pharmacies, Sunray Pharmacy, Neighborhood Pharmacy, where you can call and they'll give you an appointment. They're both in West Philly. If you're in the Delaware County side, you can go to the Walgreens in Darby, right on Chester Pike. Call them for an appointment. You can go to the Wellness Center in Yaden, right on MacDade Boulevard. They have vaccine, and you do have to call. And I know it's a lot of information, so I'll give my office phone number as well. It's 215-748-6712, and we are working on a clinic in Southwest Philly in the 19142 zip code because there hasn't been a stable setup where people can go all the time to get vaccine there. So that event is coming not this week but next, and we need 300 people. So if you've been looking and waiting and hemming and hawing or just not sure where to go, you can call the office. We can get you signed up. That one, we're partnering with Rite Aid to get vaccine out to one of the local churches right at 70th and Woodland.
Wonderful. 70th and Woodland. And Joe, if you have a flyer or anything related to that event, if you send it to me, we'll send it out via Health Partners and all of our networks. We'll put it on Facebook.
Okay.
We definitely want to support it. Also, if you want us to come out, if you want Health Partners to come out to do anything at that event, let me know. We can make that happen as well. Have the RV or whatever. We can just be out there to support you in that endeavor.
Thank you. Yes,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you give us the date for that again?
So that one is going to be on, I want to say Thursday, the 3rd. Let me check this calendar out. That is not the right date.
No, I think the 3rd is Monday.
Yeah, I'm like, let me check the calendar out. It'll be the 6th. So we should have a flyer out, and we will get it to you so you can circulate it because, we want people who've been looking to be able to sign up. And a lot of times, the convention center is open, but everybody's not going to go to one of the big sites. Some people want to go in their neighborhood, not have to get on the trolley or take a Uber, and Uber is even partnering with Black doctors. They have a coupon now, but sometimes you just want to walk somewhere. So if you live in the 19142 zip code, if you're in Southwest Philly, if you're bordering in 19153, up near Penrose, this is a central location to all of those families, even in Darby Borough. I mean, it's like 2 blocks from Main Street. So that'll be on the 6th of May. We will have a flyer with all details that you could share with your listeners.
Thank you so much for that and for all that you do in the community. We have just about reached our time. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the listening audience today?
Just want to let the listening audience know if you're having any state concerns, whether it's unemployment, I know that has been a slow situation, whatever it might be, feel free to call my office or one of my colleagues in the area. We are here to serve you. Don't ever think you're bothering. You're never inconveniencing. I promise you, my staff, they're such a great team. They'll tell you, oh, no, we are here to serve you and answer your questions. So call us anytime so that we can be your partner in the neighborhood.
Oh, I love that. And you know what? You are 100% correct. Your staff is so helpful. I personally want to give a shout out to them. We've done some events in the past. I know we're working on doing some things in the future. They're always so receptive and willing to just do whatever it is. So I appreciate them. I appreciate you for taking time out of your Sunday afternoon. Looks like the sun is trying to come back out.
Oh, it's getting bright again.
It's getting bright. Listen,
bright.
I'm looking out the window like maybe I can go sit on the deck for a minute. I don't know. But thank you so much, Representative. One day soon, let you and I grab some lunch and just start talking about some more things that we can do together in the community.
Sounds like a plan. Everybody have a good Sunday night. See you soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much. You take care. All right, so we are going to take a quick break. You're listening to In the Community with Stacey Scott. Coming up on the other side, we're going to be talking to Kelvin Jeremiah, who's going to be talking about PHA's efforts to vaccinate residents living in the public housing developments. We'll be right back.
Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media. Welcome back to In the Community with Stacey Scott. Presented by Health Partners Foundation. On WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com.
All right, family, and we are back. If you're just tuning in, listening to In the Community with Stacey Scott, and we just wrapped up a great conversation with State Representative Joanna McClinton, and she is just all about providing services to her constituents. She gave us some information about how folks can find out about the vaccine in her area, also about jobs, about just assistance of any kind. She gave out her office number. Let's repeat that. It's 215-748-6712. Coming up on May the 6th, she is partnering with Rite Aid to do a vaccine clinic. So you can come out to 70th and Woodland, get that vaccine if you haven't gotten it already. And again, if you need information about that event, give her a call. Give her office a call at 215-748-6712. And so next up, our next guest is President and CEO of PHA, and that would be Mr. Kelvin Jeremiah. He oversees the day-to-day operations of the fourth largest housing authority in the country. I mean, all of us were very familiar with PHA here in the city. Mr. Jeremiah's approach to housing communities Well, it expands well beyond affordable housing. He's going to talk about some of that today. He is interested in creating communities that provide access to good education and are crime-free. He joined PHA in 2011 as the Director of Audit and Compliance. He became the interim ED in 2012 and was appointed as President and CEO in 2013. He's been recognized by the Philadelphia Business Journal as a minority business advocate and also, very interestingly, one of the most admired CEOs. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So let's welcome Mr. Jeremiah to the show. Kelvin, are you there?
I'm there. I'm here, Stacey. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, sir, for taking time out of your Sunday. I know that you're one of the hardest working men in Philadelphia, so I know weekends are precious. So I appreciate you taking time today to spend some time with us. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Stacey. I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me, and I trust that you and your family are doing well and staying safe. And I got to tell you that Joanna McClinton is one of my favorite elected officials. She is terrific.
Yes,
all
she
the
is.
time, every day, and she cares deeply, deeply about the community. I'm a big, big fan of hers, and yours.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. See, it's a whole love fest here today. And I'm sure, I think she's still listening, but if she isn't, I'm going to make sure I let her know that you said that. And so one of the reasons why I reached out to your office, and by the way, shout out to Nicole, your media person.
Nicole Tillman, yes.
Nicole is great. She's a great person to work with. Because I had read some information about PHA partnering with Temple University, well, their College of Public Health, working with you to vaccinate residents that are in the developments. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
It would be my pleasure. I cannot say enough about Temple College of Public Health and Temple University more broadly. As you know, Stacey, PHA serves the most vulnerable and those that are dying at the highest rates due to COVID. PHA has been seeking like-minded partners to come to residents. Healthcare, from our perspective, is wellness, and we have an important part to play in this mix. Everyone deserves to live in a healthy community. And given the disproportionate impact that the pandemic has had on low-income communities, we are no exception. We wanted to ensure that residents are part of what I'd like to call an equitable COVID recovery in every single way. And you and I know, I think all too well, that the vaccine is an integral part of that recovery. And
yes.
So we were seeking partners to do this, and Temple came to the table offering to help our residents, and they had me at hello.
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, as I'm sure you probably know, Temple, as of right now, is still, the hospital is still one of our owners, right? That's going to change, in the near future, but as of right now, they still are. And so Temple's interests are also our interests as well. And so we were so proud to see them partnering with you in this way. And I want to say to you, publicly on air and everything, the Health Partners wants to partner with PHA as well in whatever way that we can in helping to ensure or enhance the health and wellness of the members of the development. So I just want to kind of put that out there.
No, absolutely. And we will welcome that support and that assistance. I think you know, Stacey, that the kind of investment that Temple is making in our communities involves us. It involves our residents. We are their neighbor, and we frankly like when institutions that are part of the community step up and play a role where they could. And in this instance, Temple is doing just that. And it's incredibly important to me personally, as somebody who is heading up one of the largest organizations in the city, if not the state. We understood the barriers that some of our residents face, especially as it relates to COVID-19 vaccine. And Temple was able to address each and every one of those. And so if you don't mind, let me just take a minute to just say a couple of things.
No, go ahead. Take your time. You're good. You're good.
So one of those barriers, and I think Joanna alluded to that towards the end of your talk with her, has to do with transportation. we're dealing with some of the most vulnerable seniors, for example.
Yes.
While they were able to successfully get through the COVID quarantine and all of that stuff, the last thing that they want to do is take a bus and traverse the city to get down to the center, the
Right.
convention center, or the other places across the city where tests and vaccines are being provided. So that was not going to happen. Secondly, in every case that I'm aware of, somebody wanting a vaccine has to get online, including the city, has to get online, complete a registration form online that gets submitted. Our residents don't have access to technology or the devices, and they don't have the wherewithal to use the internet because they don't have internet connectivity. And so we understood those things, and I wanted to make sure that those barriers didn't inhibit our residents from actually getting the vaccine that would allow them to be part of that COVID recovery, that equitable COVID recovery, given the impact it has had on the Black and brown communities across the city and state.
Yeah, I like when you talk about the equitable, right. It's about equity, right? So you hear across
Absolutely.
the city, right? You hear across the city that there are these vaccine clinics popping up all over the place, especially now that, it's open to folks 16 years of age and up. It's not always easily accessible, right? And then
Exactly.
too, on top of that, there's been a lot of conversation, Kelvin, around vaccine hesitancy in the African-American community, right? And while there has been some, what I like to say to folks is that if we focus too much on that conversation, what's going to happen is African-Americans won't get the access to it, right? Because there's so many people saying, well, they don't want it anyway. When I've been finding that that's not necessarily true. What have you found?
Stacey, I have found exactly the same. I think all too often it's an excuse by health professionals to say we have this history with vaccination, and because of it, we don't believe that Black and brown folks would want this vaccine. So I asked those health professionals, have you asked them?
That's right.
Because you might remember when the vaccine was first being distributed, only about 2% of the vaccines were going to Blacks and browns. And the excuse that were made is they don't want it. When I said, yes, I want it. I want to stand in line. And what I found, in fact, is that when given the option and credible information about the vaccine, our residents made informed decisions to get vaccinated. Well, I didn't find that they were hesitant. And the approach that we took was to send people who look like them, who are from the communities, into the communities as what we call community health workers. They were the ambassadors between the health professionals and the residents. They were residents themselves. They were fully trained by Temple University. They provided a ton of information. Everything that you needed to know about the vaccine was coming from somebody that looked like you, who could answer those questions, right? We had frequently asked questions sessions where it was all residents just asking the health professionals. And when we provided them with all of that information, we had in some cases 85, 90% of the development coming out to get vaccinated. So I would never subscribe to the idea that we don't want it. If you offered it to us and if you gave us the information so that we can make our own decisions, I think more often than not what I found is that we would make the right decision. And in this case, we opted to get the vaccine.
I agree with you 100%. I think also when the vaccines were first coming out, I don't feel that there was enough information being disseminated in Black and brown communities about who was eligible. So as I spoke as I spoke to folks in different communities, a lot of folks thought, well, I'm not, if I'm not over 65 or if I'm not a healthcare worker or first responder, then I guess I'm going to be the last to get it.
Yep.
In fact, right, it was open to individuals who had some pre-existing health conditions, individuals, if you're pregnant, if you were a smoker, if you were between 30 and 40 on the BMI chart, if you were over 40 on the BMI chart, you were automatically eligible. If you had chronic heart diseases, diabetes, and some other things. And when I was speaking to folks in our communities, I was like, listen, almost everybody I know is eligible for the vaccine. But we were not being told that in the beginning. And so,
and I think that goes back to your earlier question, which is we were not finding the hesitancy issue is one that were pervasive. You cannot make those informed decisions if you're not being provided with the facts to do so. And as I said, when provided with the facts and information, what we found is that our residents were eager to get the vaccine. I had the great fortune of talking to a lady about 2 weeks ago. She turned, on April 13th, she turned 101. And she came down to get her vaccine, and she was just so excited. One, she couldn't get on the computer. She doesn't know anything about computers, right? And all she had to do was come from her apartment upstairs down to the lobby area where Temple and PHA had organized this. And she was so excited to get the vaccine. She said she didn't want to go to the convention center. She doesn't know how she would have gotten there. She's on fixed income. And she was particularly grateful for PHA and for Temple for doing this. And I think that's the kind of approach. We have to meet people where they are. We have these kind of pre-existing notions about what they will and will not do when you don't provide the information that allows them to make informed decisions.
I agree with you 100%. That's such a great story. I'm sure you have not maybe millions, but I'm sure you have many more examples because it's right there where they live. And I love what you said, you have to meet people where they are, right? And so if you're talking about already a vulnerable population, right, income may be an issue, transportation may be an issue, but this program, it eliminates all of that, right? And I like the idea of it still keeps them kind of safe too, because they don't have to worry about going out and standing in really long lines, right, at the convention center or at some of these other places. I've heard stories of people, having to wait hours upon hours. And I mean, it's still nice that they have the opportunity, but not everybody can do that. Certainly not someone 101 years old. That's just not.
No, she was not. She told me straight up, I was not going to go on and try to figure out this computer thing. I was not going to go stand in line. She was excited that somebody had brought it literally to her doorstep. And I think that's part of what's working. We've now done almost 2,000 of those. 21 sites have been vaccinated. There is no wait in line. It's safe, comfortable setting. They're familiar with the setting because it's in the buildings where they live, in the developments where they live. And so, all of the typical anxiety that we find with the vaccine, we were able to eliminate. And I think that's in part with Temple, in large part with Temple's work in following up with these families. And so we're not just niggling in on. We provide information at the beginning, before the beginning of the vaccine, after the vaccine. Our health connectors reach back out with Temple to find out whether or not you're doing okay, if you had any side effects, how you're feeling more generally, if you had any follow-up questions or concerns. It's really a nice touch for a population that really not often see that.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that, again, that it's right where they are. It's convenient. It's safe. And speaking of that, real quickly, I want to share with you a program that we have at Health Partners that you may be interested in bringing to the residents. And so we've partnered with Dr. Michelle Nelson of the Mama T Community Fridge Project. You may have seen or heard her on the news.
Yes.
You know Michelle? Of course you know Michelle.
So.
And so we have committed, we gave Michelle $20,000 to sponsor 20 community refrigerators. We've placed a couple. There's some of the opportunity towers, but we would love to have some conversations with you about placing these refrigerators at some of your developments, and then we will come and fill them with free food every 2 weeks. And again,
I would love to.
Okay, we can definitely make that happen. That's so easy.
We can make that happen.
Absolutely. I will definitely follow up with you and with Nicole on that. And so what we do is we place these refrigerators inside the development, wherever, you all say is the appropriate place. And then we come in and we fill them with fresh fruits and vegetables. And in that way, the residents always have something available for them. What if they can't get to the store? What if the weather is inclement? What if they are between, checks or their financial periods or whatever? We want to help bridge that gap. And so that's something that we can absolutely offer to you and to your residents at absolutely no cost to PHA or to the individuals living there, because we want to help address food insecurity.
I can't tell you how incredibly important that is to our community and to the people that I am so privileged to be in service to. Over the last year, that was one of the primary impacts, the food insecurity that I saw among our residents. And we had to, we are a housing provider, but we understand the nature of what we do and who we're serving. And last year we provided at our own expense over 87,000 meals to children who, as a result of the shutdown, were not getting their school meals. We provided thousands of meals to seniors who couldn't make it to grocery stores and who didn't have the resources. And so, I love those kinds of partnerships because it really is badly needed in our communities where we don't see sufficient enough fresh fruits and vegetables.
Absolutely. And it is our pleasure to do that. And one of the things that we're focusing on at the foundation is we do, talk a lot about social determinants of health. Our three areas are education, food insecurity, and housing insecurity. So there's definitely some overlap in what it is that we do. And one of the other things that we're going to be taking a look at now and in the years to come, we're really looking at addressing systemic poverty and how to help individuals lift themselves up out of that. Right? And what does that look like? And what does that feel like? I know as an organization, Health Partners Foundation, we've been around for over 20 years. And for the past 20 years, our goal is to leave a footprint of goodwill in the community that ties back to our parent company, which is Health Partners Plans. But as I was saying in a board meeting the other day, we give out a lot of fish at Health Partners Foundation, right? We will need you, help you, we would do a lot of things. But we also want to teach people to fish and also give them the tools that they can use to then take, to sustain their family in a positive way. And so that's really where we're moving toward as an organization. And it's certainly my pleasure to partner with PHA in any way that I can on that. So we'll definitely be talking a little bit more about that in the days and weeks to come.
No, I would welcome wholeheartedly that engagement and that conversation. I'm familiar with some of the work that you guys do, and let me tell you, at PHA, we're doing a lot of it, and we're always looking for like-minded partners who get it, and I think you guys get it in some real ways, and trying to find pathways to social and economic mobility for our residents is key to lifting them up and out of poverty. And absolutely. I think you understand that all too well.
I do. And so talking about, if you could speak just a little bit, we have, a couple more minutes, but if you could just speak to, has PHA had to make any changes to adapt to life during the pandemic?
Yes, we've had to make several. First, obviously, we are a city agency, a government agency like so many others. We couldn't be seeing our clients in person. So we went largely, we had to automate in fairly quick order all of our key services that were provided, that used to be provided in person. One of the things that I did at the outset of the pandemic was to make sure that we were addressing all of the health risks associated with the spread of COVID. And so, we made sure that we provided information, hand sanitizers, enhanced deep cleaning across the spectrum of our senior development. And, in fact, as a result of that, is what the information we provided, the collaboration that we had with residents and resident leadership, we didn't see the level of community spread that some of my colleagues across the country were seeing. And then I got to tell you, the two other areas that were incredibly important were first the suspending eviction and entering into a moratorium on eviction, suspending late payments, and giving our residents some room to breathe, not having to worry about the housing that they're going to be evicted for not paying rent. And then I think the second thing was around food insecurity. I wasn't surprised by the need, but I was surprised by how quickly the need to provide that food was. Almost, I think we shut down around March 16th, and from the very jump, we were seeing that our kids were going hungry, that seniors didn't have food to eat, and so we went out and partnered with a number of organizations, CHOP, for example, to provide meals to kids, partnering with the city. And without that, too many of our kids would have gone hungry over the last year. And so, I say to people often that PHA is a housing provider, and we're proud to do that. But we're also, beyond housing, one of the largest social services provider in the city, if not the state, given the amount of money that we spend on things that are not specifically housing because of the state and nature of our population.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, when you talk about getting it, you get it, and PHA gets it. And we are just so grateful for your leadership and for the changes that you're making, even regarding the perception of individuals that are living in public housing, right? And so we always have to maintain their dignity, their respect, and provide them the services and the tools necessary for them, again, to come up out of systemic poverty and take care of themselves and their families. So I want to thank you so much, Calvin, for your time today. It's been awesome talking to you. And listen, I have your number now, so I'm going to be calling you.
Use it, please. Please.
I am going to be calling you and Nicole, and we are going to do some amazing things together because we are here to support you and all that you're doing for the community.
I'm excited. Please reach out anytime and keep up the good work and keep talking about the issues that are so important to you and the organization and to all of us who care about people. It is, in my view, a privilege to be in service to others.
Yes, it is. I agree with you 100%. And we'll be talking soon. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. We'll talk.
All right. Okay, that was a great conversation with Calvin Jeremiah. Usually at this point we take a break, but I'm going to keep going because we've only got about 10 minutes left. The time goes so fast, right, Mike?
I don't understand it. Maybe because it's a nice day today.
I don't know. I always feel like before the show starts, I'm like, okay, get all your notes together, and it's going to be this, it's going to be that, and it flies by so quickly. You know what that means?
For the record, I'm all for it. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, I'm for it too. I think we might need more time, Mike.
I think so. I think you need about 2-3 hours. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we have to talk to the powers that be.
We're gonna see. We're gonna write some letters. I'm gonna try to pull some strings. We're gonna see what happens. No problem.
Okay. All right. And our final guest today is HPP CHIP Rep Tina Jackson. And Tina is coming on, and she and I, we're just gonna have a quick chat. We're going to talk about CHIP, which is Children's Health Insurance Program, and how our listeners, and now I got residents on the line, how our listeners can find out more information about that. Tina, are you on the line?
Hi, everybody. I am.
Hey, Miss Tina, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you are amazing. And I have to tell all the listeners, Tina is one of my partners in crime at HPP, and she always shows up whenever I ask her for anything. Even today, it was a last minute decision to get her on, and I called her and I begged her, please come and keep me straight. And she's absolutely. So I want to say thank you for that. Tina, like I said, is one of our CHIP representatives. And Tina, I want you to keep me straight. I'm going to say something. You tell me if I'm saying it right. Okay.
Excellent. All righty.
All right, so the CHIP program that is administered by Health Partners Plans, it comes out of our Kids Partners division. And so this particular program, it provides Pennsylvania children up to age 19 with free or low cost health coverage, depending on the size of the family and the income. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And is it also correct that for many families, CHIP is free?
You know, Stacey, that is a very interesting question. On the CHIP site, a CHIP PA, you will find a chart, an income chart.
Okay.
Did you know that a family of 3 with children between the ages of 6 and 18 could make up to $45,677 and still be eligible for free CHIP?
Wow. Now, seriously, I did not know that because, before, looking into it and understanding what we do at the plan, I thought CHIP was just for unemployed folks or folks receiving public assistance, but that's actually, it's the opposite of that. If you're already receiving public assistance, you're not eligible for CHIP. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. I like to say there's 2 flavors of CHIP. There's one for those who are eligible for state assistance, and there's the flavor of CHIP we're speaking of today that is eligible for those families who make literally no limit.
Okay. So we're talking about folks who may be underemployed, not necessarily unemployed, or we're talking about individuals who perhaps their employers don't offer insurance, or perhaps the insurance is too high for folks to carry it, for themselves or for their children. And so here is where CHIP could come in and fill that gap. And then can we just talk too about the services that are covered by CHIP?
Yes, I definitely would love to do that.
Okay.
As to your point, there's a situation where your company may be able to cover you and a spouse for an affordable amount. When you add your children on, it gets astronomical depending on where that company and the number of kids, depending on what that contract is with your employer. However, I love to share the benefits, such as you get the same thing you will with your core benefits with your job. Primary care, specialist, hearing, in and out of hospital, emergency, urgent care, behavioral health is also included. But here's the fun thing, Stacey.
What's that?
With my plan, and I think with yours too, I have to pay extra for vision, extra for dental.
Yeah.
Did you know that it's included in the CHIP plan, including braces and glasses?
Wow. See, that's important.
Isn't that amazing?
Know that, right? Because I think sometimes, people see the CHIP advertisement sometimes on the side of the bus or whatever. So I've heard some commercials, but I don't think all the time that people really understand what it covers. And that more people really are probably eligible than they even know. So, Tina, if someone had a question, if one of our listeners out there had a question about their eligibility or how to get their kids signed up, what would they need to do?
Thank you for asking. The easiest way is that Health Partners Plans is probably the only company that provides personal individual care or information. So we also provide home visits. So you can contact me at 267-761-8027, and we can talk about creating a home visit where we actually meet at a CDC qualified location to help you get enrolled. The other way is to call our telephone number, which is a fun number, easy to remember, which is 888-1211. There you can get information, you can get an application sent out to you, but the easiest way would be to contact me.
All righty. And so there you have it, folks. The easiest way is to contact Tina Jackson. And I'm going to tell you, Tina goes everywhere, okay? At schools, Tina will go to schools, she'll go to churches, she'll go to community organizations, she does webinars and Zoom presentations, and just wherever you need Tina to be, I know for a fact that she shows up because, again, she does that for me as well with events and things like that. And so, Tina, I just want to say thank you so much for your friendship, for the camaraderie we share as coworkers, and thank you for taking time out of your day today. I appreciate you.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, listeners, and thank you, Stacey.
All right, we'll be talking, Tina.
Awesome. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care. Well, family, what can I say? We've come to the end of another hour. It just, again, it goes by so fast. And so what do we do today? In summary, we had a great conversation with State Representative Joanna McClinton. Remember, on May the 6th, she is having a vaccine distribution clinic at 70th in Woodland. And if you want to know more about that, please give her office a call at 215-748-6712. If you want to talk to Tina Jackson about CHIP and your eligibility, give her a call at 267-761-8027. If you'd like to get a PPE kit for your kids, send me an email at hpfoundation@hpplans.com. And as always, as we wrap this show up, family, remember, my prayer, my wish for you is found at 3 John, and it says, in the 3rd of John, it says, "Beloved, my wish for you is that you continue to prosper and remain in good health. Please take care of yourself. Wear your mask. I know it's getting warm and we're getting a little frisky out there because of the vaccine, but please continue to stay vigilant, stay physically distant and socially responsible, and let's be kind to one another. And I will talk to you next month. Take care."